What can we do?
Here's what we can do.
Yeah.
Number one, request your mail-in ballot. When it comes to you, and you folks, you got to follow these instructions. Do not open it. Don't you dare open it. And you keep every version that comes to you. Now, what you do is you go in on election day to vote. These numbers went through the roof in 2020 and in 2022. You get there, you have a high statistical chance, happened in California, that they say, I'm sorry, but we show you've already voted.
Yeah.
Now, you know you haven't. Follow the rules. Number one, don't bitch. Don't say anything. Don't start saying fraud. Go, can you repeat that to me? The worker is going to say, I'm sorry, Ms. Barr, you can't, we show you already voted. And they'll say, I'll give you a provisional, which means we're going to let you vote, but we're going to investigate it. Now, what they don't tell you is they're going to count the mail-in ballot. They're not going to count the provisional because they have no way of telling if that was really you, okay? Now, you're going to be handed a provisional. When you're handed that provisional ballot, because they've already told you, I'm sorry, we show you've already voted, ask for the supervisor to come over and just do one more check. They'll bring the supervisor over and say, can you just double check this for me? I didn't vote my mail-in ballot. Supervisor's going to tell you the same thing. They're only as good as the data they have. They're going to tell you, yes, you voted. So I can vote provisional. Step aside with the provisional. Call your sheriff's department, not the police.
It is all about the sheriffs.
No, you're right.
Totally
Do
about
not
the
call
sheriffs.
the police.
Okay.
Okay, now follow these exact steps.
Call your sheriffs.
You call your sheriff on the non-emergency line. Don't you dare use 911, ask for the service, or you have your sheriff ready on your phone. And when the sheriff line comes on, non-emergency line, or they'll ask you it's an emergency, you say no, said, I need to report identity theft, but it's unique. I'm standing here at a retail place. I watched it happen, and I'm still here. I need to have a deputy show up. Now, they'll send you a deputy. You notice I didn't say polling place. I said I'm at a retail location because that's actually what it is.
Okay.
And somebody has stolen my identity.
Yes, it has.
Don't talk ballots. Don't talk voting. Now, the sheriff's going to show up. Now, of course, they're going to see it's a polling place. What's going to happen is you tell the sheriff's going to find you. You meet him. You tell them the story. You can even tell the people, I'm going to give you my provisional ballot. I'll be right back. You're going to tell the sheriff the story. The sheriff's going to go to the two people you talked to and going to get the exact same story. Sorry you ever voted. And at that time, and only at that time, reach into your pocketbook or your purse or your jacket and pull out your mail-out ballot. And you say, this is my mail-in ballot.
Sealed.
You can see it's not open. I have not voted my mail-in ballot. Somebody has stolen my identity. And you get a report right then and there on the books. Do not surrender that ballot. You have no requirement by law to surrender it because it becomes your property when they mail it to you. And you can clearly say, this is my evidence. They've stolen my ID. I'm keeping it, right? File the report. Now, what you've done is you've empowered a sheriff who actually has the ability to investigate and seize ballot boxes and seize things. And you put the responsibility where it's identity theft. Stay away from voting. Stay away from fraud. And you will force the right type of investigation.
But this is only if they say you've already previously voted, right? Okay.
But that's what they did. They did hundreds
so that's
of thousands of
that's
times.
number one. They do that quite a bit. And I can tell you, and when these votes come down to 2 or 3 or 4 or 5,000 people, they only need to do it to a double handful per precinct. Okay.
Right.
Next, if you're a woman or man for whatever reason that have changed your name, you got married. Statistically, if you're a woman, you got married and you changed your name and moved away, you are still voting in your old county.
Oh, wow.
You are still there.
Wow.
Next, if you've had anybody in your life die within the last 16 to 20 years, you need to look them up and make sure they're not on the voter rolls. Chances are, statistically, they're still there and they're still voting.
Wow.
Okay?
What a crooked fucking country.
Yes, it is. There's all kinds of stupid rules, but I'm going to show you how to use it right. You have people right now that are supposed experts, and here's what they're telling you. There's so much misinformation. They're saying, vote your oval. So like you mark your oval and and draw a line to your candidate so we can see that it's it. That immediately adjudicates your ballot.
Motherfuckers.
That means you've suspended it. They are teaching you to do that.
Wow.
Next, these county recorders say, you make a mistake, just scribble on it.
Nope.
That suspends your ballot.
Won't read it.
Here's the other way they're doing it because they know we've done a lot of teaching on this. You're going to walk in. Before they give you your ballot, they're going to say you're a Republican, right? Or you're going to vote Democrat? Okay. And they'll just put a little mark or a check. Okay, here's your ballot. They'll just check it and hand it to you. What have they done? You didn't. They forced adjudicated your ballot, and you don't even know it.
Wow. So what can you ask for?
You immediately ask for a replacement. Say, do not mark on my ballot.
Yeah.
They are intentionally marking on it because the machine picks up any stray mark anywhere. They'll tell you it only reads the ovals. Total lie. Right. Total bullshit con lie.
Wow.
So you've got to be aware of that.
Okay.
So the way we're going to fight this right now is the last thing that I suggest is the following. Go and look up at U.S. Immigration and Department of Homeland Security, how much from the time Joe Biden came in to today, the most current number of how much they've spent on dealing with illegals. write that number down. You're going to take that number and you're going to divide it basically by 330 million citizens. Mm-hmm. That number is going to be about $19,000, hypothetically. Okay. So now you got $19,000. You're going to write that down. Stay with me. You're going to then go to your state. You're going to look up how much your state in the same amount of time has spent on illegals for your state. They have a different number. You're going to do that. You're going to divide it by the citizens in your state. Then you're going to do the same thing for your city. Some cities like Austin have a lot more. You're going to total it up. When you total up that number, you are going to conceivably be in somewhere between $37,000 and $69,000 of debt that the government has committed you to. Now, here's the deal. They are breaking the laws by not enforcing immigration.
Right.
It's on the books. They are breaking laws by allowing illegals to vote. It's on the books. So the reason you do that number is because you have to prove you've been damaged.
Right.
That's standing.
Yes, that's your standing. And so once you do the simple math and you find out how much they're spending on illegals in your town, in your state, and the government, you say, I, Mark Smith, have been damaged this amount of money because here's why.
What?
I've been damaged because my county and my state and my country is not enforcing illegal immigration. Then I want you to add a second part to that. Now, this is key.
What?
I want you to say, as a citizen, I believe our country is also damaging migrants. Now, I know you hate that term, but bear with me.
No, but it's true.
But hang on. Ready? Don't call them illegals.
Okay.
Use their language.
Migrants.
Okay.
And then say,
because they are.
Yes. Yeah. My state does automatic motor voter registration, and they are sending migrants who are not citizens voter registration cards. They are leading the migrants to believe they can vote, although our Constitution and state law says you can't vote if you're not a citizen. Net consequences is a migrant might be led to believe they can vote, and that's subject to immediate deportation. Now, what you've done is you've played the victim card for the migrant. Now, what you're doing is you're taking that piece of paper. You do not need an attorney to do this. And you can file for what's called a TRO, a temporary restraining order. And you can go down to your courthouse, see a judge, and I want to file a temporary restraining order on my county election officials, my Secretary of State. You can do all of them and should. And I want to temporarily restrict them from printing the ballots. Why? Because they can't confirm who is an American citizen or not. We have an unintended loophole which could lead innocent people to believe they can vote, which will subject them to deportation, which increase my cost and damages. We need to suspend the printing of the ballots and verify our voter rolls are truly American citizens.
And everybody should do this in their own city.
Bravo, boy, you went down that wormhole and figured it out.
That's the simplest way to do it. We have those rights.
All day is try to figure out the wormhole.
We have those rights.
The way to
do it.
And here's what happens. When 5 people in a city or neighborhood do it, what do you automatically get? Class action.
Yes.
I knew it was a class action.
You have to do it yourself in your own words.
No, I just mean like, do I go after the attorney general?
All of them.
But is there a list of who to go after?
It's everybody who runs your elections, your county recorders,
your
board of supervisors, your governors, your secretary of states. It's everybody. You're telling them cease and desist, and all you're doing is you cannot print the election ballots until you can prove that every ballot printed is for and given to an actual citizen of the United States of America.
Amen.
And if enough of us do that, not only can we get momentum, and a judge rules only on the law, you have to, though, show the unintended consequences of unchecked and enforced immigration laws. And don't call them illegals, and don't bitch and moan, and don't cuss, and say, we have created something that will take innocent people and accidentally turn them into criminals and deport them because it's just a loophole. So the way we clean this up is I want a temporary restraining order from printing the ballots, and our cities, our town, our precincts must confirm everybody they got on the roll is an American citizen, and it can be done.